about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
I'm falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 70 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada. Alongside me, as always, is Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Look, it's the same thing as last week, Danny. I'm not good. I'm not bad. I'm just, it's Woo Wednesday. Got another tie.
Yeah, but that's 2 times the points we've been getting over the last month and a half.
I guess. I mean, if that's how you want to look at it, you're looking
That is
at
how I
it
wanna
with a
look
little
at
bit. Yeah, whatever. You do you.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I said that we needed 3 points, so I figured we needed a win in one of the last 4 games, and we ended up getting 2 points off of 2 draws in a row. So one more draw and we get those 3 points, but keeping those playoff hopes alive, kind of, sort of, barely. But
Yeah, barely.
it is July 5th. Today, the transfer window opened. Exactly 1 month ago today, we were recording on a Monday with our guy, IMCF Traveler. If you're not following him already, go ahead and follow him. And he was with us, and then he kind of just wanted to just give us a little something. And I thought he was joking around, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't sure how seriously to take him. And he said, hey, by the time Friday comes around, you can go ahead and order yourself that Messi Inter Miami jersey. And then he hit us with, and by the way, he's debuting on July 21st against Cruz Azul, which, by the way, I took that and I ran and I went and I purchased some tickets right after he told me that. Thank goodness I did. So my wife would like to thank you, Trav, for giving us the heads up, because we now got some tickets plus more tickets, and we'll see what we do with those. But thank you very much for joining us and for all that info. How you doing, Trav?
I'm hanging in there, feeling kind of middle, not a win, not a loss.
Well, I mean, look at this guy, Danny. Like, he loves mediocrity, right? Like, he is excited. He is a kid, and he is a pig in shit with 2 ties, Danny. Get out of here.
What is that?
Get out of here.
If you had to choose between a loss or a draw, would you not prefer a draw?
I mean, but you're asking me the dumbest question of historical, of human historicalness. Like, of course, you're going to want to tie over a loss.
Okay, so why can't I be just semi-happy that we didn't lose? We scored in the 90th minute. It was basically looking like a loss.
Look at what you're doing. You're rubbing off on Matthew now. He's willing to take a tie for a game that we haven't even played yet.
Chris, you said that we were probably going to lose the last 4 games. You thought we were going to go into the break on an 11-game losing streak. At least we're not doing that. Listen, Trev, man, should we not be somewhat, not happy, but should we not be somewhat satisfied that we are not on a 9-game losing streak?
I mean, I would say yes. I'm going to take the points right now. If we want even a shot at the MLS playoffs, we need to pick up points however we can. We need to make up for those 13 losses on the season. We should have won against Austin. Josef Martinez had multiple chances to put it away. Yep. Columbus, I'm very happy with the draw. That's the first time all season that we have come from behind to secure points. So I'm very happy with the draw against Columbus.
Listen, I could have. I wasn't sad with the tie against Columbus, but like, how crazy would it be that we just tie every game until Messi gets here, right?
That would be a
disaster. That would be a disaster, Danny.
I'll take it.
I would take that too. That's an additional 2 points. Right now,
lose and then win, we get an extra point.
I'm sorry, but you're not beating St. Louis. You're not beating Traveler's boy Indy. I'm sorry. As much as I would love to beat Indy, you're not beating Indy. You're not beating St. Louis.
Listen, Rob Wise is getting dime of the days here. I mean, he already is on fire. Javi is worse than Phil.
He's not wrong.
No, and then let's get one. You know what? Let's jump into it. Trav. I want to see what you think. Trav, Chris and I were talking about this last episode. Do you think it's Tata pulling the strings behind the scenes and Javi's just kind of the person standing there?
Yes. No, 100%. I mean,
So Tata is worse than Phil.
I mean, if for the last two matches, for the two draws, it's been
Yes.
Tata pulling the strings.
I agree.
And it's as simple as Javi straight up admitted to that. He said, I've been in constant communication with Tata Martino. We think it's going to be a very easy transition to his system. That's because he's calling the strings.
For sure.
He's calling all the shots right now. He's telling Javi, all right, you're starting this lineup. We're going to play these tactics, all of this. I can't be down there because my work visa hasn't come in yet. Gotta love the US government. But this is what we're doing, and you're going to do it.
I agree. Chris, do you think that's why Joseph's been starting? Because I think Tata was calling the shots even before he got officially hired. I can't see why else Joseph would have been starting.
I don't know about calling the shots before he was officially, hired. I think that it was easier to put Joseph in over Campana. And I don't know, dude.
Why?
There's so many people in this chat that really still believe that this guy is better than Phil. Like, you guys are out of your minds.
I don't think Phil was horrible. I just think Phil needed to go because the team was playing so poorly. And he was very and actually Pizarro came out and said it, that he was very rigid with his play style. He didn't give them any freedom. And they felt that. And I think that that's also helped a lot ever since Javi took over. They're playing with a little more freedom, but now with Tata pulling the strings, maybe it's a little more organized chaos, I could say, I guess. Trav.
I mean, for me, the decision to start Josef was less about who's better, Josef or Campana. It was more about, all right, if we keep losing and we keep looking like shit, we need to at least show off the talent that we do have, so that if we have to farther sell house, we can. I mean, that's effectively why Pizarro played the last two games. That's why Robbie Robinson played two of the last three games, because these are players that are going to depart, and while they're known quantities and they're known what they bring, you still want to be able to show off what they have and say, oh, okay, look, Pizarro, he can be effective in the midfield. Oh, look, Robbie Robinson, he is a effective left wing striker.
All right. Well, I guess we can get into Saturday's game since we're talking about the fact that
kid doesn't
Pizarro
even have a left foot. Robbie
Robbie?
Robinson needs a whole left foot surgically
he needs a left
put on
leg
his
because he
left
keeps
foot.
getting injured. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
he needs.
I mean, yeah.
He needs two hammies. So if anybody has some to spare, let me know. I'll put you in
All right.
contact.
So on Saturday's game, we, like you said, first time we came back, because whenever we gave up the goal first, we were 0-13, 13 losses. We came back not once but twice. We tied it, obviously, with that Joseph goal late. I'll start with you, Chris. Did you have any takeaways from Saturday's game?
Listen, the takeaways that I had was I love Taylor. I love him. And if we deal him or do anything with him, I'll be furious. Ian Frey played like a subpar 15 minutes in the beginning, and then after that picked it up big time. Like, if it wasn't for him, a lot of our attacking plays would have never existed. So that's just crazy in my opinion. And then the worst part is, and maybe you can talk a little bit about this, Trav. Pizarro to me played super, super effective. And the crazy thing is everybody's talking about him getting dealt, which, I mean, I don't see it not happening, but like, everybody's talking about it like if it's set in stone already.
It is.
So those are the things that stood out to me in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, Rodolfo Pizarro was always leaving this window. From the second that we knew that Messi and Sergio Busquets were signing, along with more friends that they're bringing, such as Jordi Alba, Rodolfo Pizarro was always the odd man out. He is the designated player who can't be bought down using GAM. He doesn't really have a spot with this roster with a Messi and Busquets and Alba and the emergence of Benja Kramaski and David Ruiz and stuff like that. So Pizarro was always going to be the odd man out, and it's bittersweet to see him go because
He's been playing well.
He's been playing well lately, and he's love or hate him, he's a historic player for this club. He scored the first ever goal. He had the iconic celebration against Orlando in the COVID season. He arguably, outside of Lewis Morgan, was one of our best players in the inaugural 2020 season.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it wasn't for the arrival of Gonzalo Higuain, who they very obviously hated each other, he probably would have thrived here. And it just never came to fruition. And sadly, now he is going to go. Where is he going to go? I can't tell you just yet. It could be within MLS. It could be back in Mexico. He's got suitors. And he talked very candidly last night about his departure. He knew going into last night's match that it was his final match for Inter Miami.
Yep.
He took, I think, almost 10 minutes to leave the field and walked around. He was distraught. He gave his kid away. Pizarro doesn't typically do that, and was very, very honest in his post-game interview and said that, I'm disappointed that I've let the owners down.
Before the season started, everybody was calling that you can buy out a DP player or buy out a player in the middle of the season. They were calling it the Messi rule, but in reality, they just called it the Pizarro rule because that was literally the player that it was meant for. We all knew that if Messi came and they needed to open up one of the DP spots, it was either buying down Gregory, which you could have done already, right?
Well, we did.
Right. Or buying out Pizarro. And everybody knew that that's what was going to happen. So, I mean, I know everybody's calling it the Messi rule, but I mean, it's kind of like the Pizarro rule. Let's get Pizarro something here.
Well, and the bigger rule that was made was the fact that now you can trade a designated player and retain salary, but still shed that designated player spot. So he could theoretically, for the Inter Miami comms people that are going to blow up my phone after this, he could theoretically be traded to the LA Galaxy. Miami could retain $1.5 million of his contract, and he won't count as a designated player for either club.
Yeah.
So they theoretically could do that. Atlanta did that with Josef Martinez when they sent him to us.
Yep.
So, very much he could do that, and that is a mechanism that Inter Miami could use. And if there isn't a MLS suitor for him, he will be bought out. He only has 6 months left on his contract. Miami will pay the remaining $1.5 million on his contract, and he will walk free and be free to sign anywhere.
And for those wondering why Messi still hasn't officially been announced, even though the transfer window's open, they still don't have a DP spot open for him because Pizarro is still on the team. And I'm assuming they're waiting to introduce Messi and Busquets together.
Correct.
No, that's not why?
So Miami does have an open DP spot. They bought down Gregory.
But they want to announce both together, no?
The reason that Messi hasn't officially been announced yet is twofold. One, Inter Miami will be hosting a unveiling event. I've been told that it's a season ticket holder exclusive event on July 16th at Drive Pink Stadium, where they will have a open training, kind of a concert, so on and so forth, and an unveiling of their summer signings.
Okay.
Mr. Krabs with a great point. They will introduce Messi, Busquets, Alba, and whoever else arrives at the same exact time. Messi also has not signed the contract yet. The whole reason for that is because it's an extremely complex contract.
Yeah, there's so much that's got to be worked out, not just through MLS, but through Apple, through Adidas. I mean, there's so many other
the last
factors.
month they would have gotten that done already.
So he's agreed to terms with Inter Miami. There's no doubt about that. Chris Henderson has said that. At this point, though, he now needs to basically finalize certain pieces of it with MLS, such as revenue sharing from the Apple TV deal, revenue sharing from kit sales, so on and so forth. Those are all being worked out, little kinks. Messi will be signing for Inter Miami. It's not in doubt. He's agreed to it. It's just little pieces that are being worked out at this point.
All right. Now, I did, and I know I was about to ask you another question. I know we're going to get rolling on this because this is going to take up the majority of the episode. But I did want to finish real quick with Saturday's game. What did you think of Benja playing right wing back? Because I thought that, given the fact that unless he's played it in the youth academy, which I wasn't aware of, I thought he did a great job holding that side down, especially since Columbus was picking on him because they constantly tried to get him with through balls, and he did a great job. Obviously, his youth and athleticism helped him kind of recover a lot of times that he was beaten. But I thought that he did a pretty good job down on the right side. What did you think of Benja down playing the right wing back?
Well, and before you get to it, Trav, I did watch Javi with the post game, and he mentioned that this was the first time that Ben Krem played the right wing back. So if we can get some of your thoughts, that'd be great, Trav.
So Benja is a naturally right-sided player. He prefers to play on the right side of either a midfield 3, midfield 4 diamond, so on and so forth. His defensive part of his game has always been lacking. It's been something that he's worked on throughout the years, especially as he's moved from more of a 10 to an 8. So by putting him there, Miami doesn't have any other wide players they could have put out there.
He got duped.
Neville.
I'll get into this one before the comments murder me.
All right.
But Benja at the same time provides the ability to play a ball in and come centrally. We saw a lot of times, especially later in the game, where Benja came a little bit more centrally while Ian Frey moved wider and basically turned into a true back 3 while Benja playing more of a like right CDM, right center mid. So I thought he did fantastic. He put in some great recoveries and great defensive efforts.
Yes.
And if he can work on that side of his game, he will be one of the best 8s in the league.
It wasn't a master class at right wing back, but the fact that it was the first time I saw him there, and I saw not only that he was playing well, but that he was busting his ass. Like, it's not like he was busting his ass. I respect
he always
that.
Does that.
And that's what I love about him. So I really appreciated what I saw out of him. What I saw out of Ian Frey, I thought Ian Frey played one hell of a game. Noah Allen, I still love Noah Allen, even though seeing him as center back on the left side is a little weird, but I still thought that he did great. David Ruiz is still doing those silly fouls, but I love the aggression.
Crazy person, but I love crazy people.
Yeah, the young guys I thought really showed up. And I think that that's going to be really helpful with depth because obviously when Messi and friends come, they're not going to get the same amount of playing time they've been getting over the last month or so. But I do think that they're going to get valuable playing time now, and that's going to help them in the long run. And then one more thing. Ian Frey, I thought played great. Phenomenal. Is there any chance, because I know, look, I was looking into it. Tata played 5 in the back with 3 center backs for a lot of late 2018, the year that they won the title. So he was running 5 in the back or 3 center backs. When Kamal Miller comes back, is there any chance, do you think, that we see Ian Frey take Kamal Miller's spot? Or if there's 3 in the back, I would assume Ian falls right into one of those.
If we play a back 3, back 5, whatever you want to call it, Ian Frey starts without a second of a doubt.
Okay. If it's only 4 in the back, though.
If it's 4 at the back, I put out a tweet after last night's game that said Ian Frey should start over Kamal Miller right now. I think Kamal Miller is a fantastic player, but you can't drop Ian Frey right now. Dude is playing the balls that need to be played. He's recovering. He's putting in the absolutely perfectly timed tackles that need to be put in. He can play in a back 3, in a back 4. He can play number 6. he needs to play right now. You cannot take out a player who is at their absolute best form right now.
That's a steamy take. That's a steamy
there was a
take.
comment that I have an Ian Frey signed kit. Yes, I do. I got it signed to the night that he scored his first ever professional goal.
And then
that
is scary to me,
of
because
kits,
I think Inter Miami Twitter world knows that you have a bit of a jinx with Inter Miami. Oh no. Oh, there you go.
Random Diop jersey.
That's a game worn Clement Diop jersey.
So you have a bit of a jinx going. So hopefully you've broken that with the Ian Frey. I did want to talk about real quick the defense. Columbus, by far the best offense in the league. And I was looking at their stats because I'm a numbers guy. And they're surprisingly disciplined under Nancy Wilford. The way that, even though that they are very aggressive, they don't get called offside very often. But our young guys playing our back line were very disciplined. They got called for 4 offsides this game, and they are averaging like 1 a game up until this point. So the fact that we were able to keep that discipline line, and it was Noah Allen back there, Ian Frey back there, Benja Kramashi back there, I thought that was a really good look. The fact that we were able to keep so disciplined, and it's just young guys just starting to get used to kind of playing. And that was, I think, my biggest takeaway, is that our defense looked a lot better than it has in recent games.
Yeah, and the most impressive part of it, to me at least, was Ian Frey. Ian Frey, if you watched just him this past match, he was vocal. He was yelling for players to get up, to move up, to hold their line, so on and so forth. He had a absolutely spectacular match from top to bottom. Go and watch the Josef goal, but watch Ian Frey on that goal. Ian Frey played a beautiful outside of the boot ball into Leo Campana to set him up to score on that goal. I think if you had to tell me right now one player that is the future of Inter Miami, it's Ian Frey.
Well, and he's the one.
Also,
like I
shout out
mentioned,
to Marley Frey, his sister.
And really, he's the one that's actually been pushing the pace. And to push the pace as a defender, I mean, other than Kamal Miller, because Kamal Miller was also pushing pace when he was, rocking with us a little more. But him and Ian Frey are the only defenders that I've seen pushing the pace, like with the ball at their feet and moving it up. Not like Negri, where he's just like blasting off onto the sides. So the fact that Ian Frey is pushing the pace as a defender and has the confidence to do so, I mean, how can you be able to take that position away from him?
Well,
right, Danny?
The number of times that you would just see Ian Frey turn around, look, see that there's no good pass to make, and say, screw it, I'm going on an adventure, and go on a 30-yard run straight up the field before playing a pass, it is spectacular. And that's what Miami's been missing for the past, 2 years since we lost LGP and Figal, was that ball-moving, ball-carrying center back who can progress play directly out of the back.
Yeah. And I thought that the fact that he was coming up with the ball with the confidence, it helped, especially when you have the midfielders that are not pushing the ball up as much as they should be.
Yeah. No, I'm not drinking Henny, Will. I think Ian Frey had a great game last night. And then some people were talking about how Ian Frey was the person that kind of cost him that. Was it the first goal? No, it was the second goal. The second goal,
yeah.
I think that was more on Christoph, because Christoph kind of went into the right side towards Cucho and Salarayan when they were already overloaded defensively over there. They had David Reese over there. They had, I think it was Noah Allen over there. So they were well covered. And Christoph came over, and Ian Frey just had to fill in that center role that Christoph had abandoned. So it was left obviously he was left unguarded or unmarked by in the far post, but I wouldn't put that totally on Frey. Obviously,
well, and if Ian Frey dives for that ball, it deflects off him and goes in. Yeah. So I rather him play the space and hope that either Drake Callender comes out for it, or that he's able to turn around and make a play on it. But I rather not see him make just a diving tackle on the ball and end up in the back of our own net one way or another.
That'd be brutal.
Campana, man of the match. I thought he had a horrible first half. I thought he was a ghost out there. I didn't really notice him much. That obviously that header, he's the best thing we have right now on set pieces, the best option. And I think part of the reason he got the start, one, it was a short turnaround, so Joseph can't play another 90. And two, he had a brace against the Columbus the first time we played him, so why not try it again? And obviously he scored again and had an assist. So he had a good second half, let me say. He had a good second half. And I like to see him with Joseph. I think he sets Joseph up nicely with a lot of through balls. Is there any chance that we see Campana and Joseph playing together up top, do you think? Because I would love to see that, but I don't know if Tata ever runs that.
I mean, I think so. I think that Miami honestly lines up in a kind of 4-2-2 with Jordi Alba, Sergei Kristov, Ian Frey, DeAndre Yedlin, Dixon Arroyo, Sergio Busquets, Lionel Messi, and
Stefanelli.
Either Stefanelli
Or Benja.
or Benja, depending on how Tata leans, and then Josef and Campana up top.
How good does it feel to be able to toss Lionel Messi's name into a potential starting lineup? Like, he voiced that, and I felt chills in my body. Like, that is beautiful.
Well, and the crazy thought is just thinking that even with Alba, Busquets, Messi, we're not done.
No, I mean, it's not over. And then MLS is going to blow the rules up. So, I mean, of course, we're going to get to the point where it's going to be open game when the season is over.
I'm gonna ask Chris one question, and then I know we're gonna get rolling with all the transfer window talk, which will probably run us for the next half hour. Chris, Joseph finally lands the bicycle kick. We're always talking on this show about how he has a crazy highlight. He has a crazy highlight reel this season of empty bicycle kicks because he tries them but never even touches the ball. What did you think when he finally scored that bicycle kick?
It was a beauty. And I'll tell you, I was actually very happy that the pass came from Campana, because like if Campana wanted to be a dick about it, he would have just tried to blow it through himself. But
he had no
saw
angle,
the opportunity. Yeah, but I mean, come on, it's his left foot. That's his stronger foot, so he's gonna go after it. But for him to see Joseph waiting for his patented, frisbee kick 3000, how is he not gonna pass that? So yeah, it was gorgeous. Maybe it'll give him the confidence to be able to land more normal goals. I thought it was great.
In the Tata era, we've had 2 games since he's officially been named the next manager of Inter Miami. And in those 2 games, Joseph has scored twice. So what it took was Tata being in the stadium to unlock Joseph. That's it. It's over. It's a wrap. Just know it's coming. 2018 Joseph. That's it. It's coming. All right, so I guess we will now move on to the fun stuff. So let's start with this one right here, which is it gets me to my heart a little bit. Michelle Kaufman came out and said, "No truth to the Sergio Ramos rumors. He is not coming," and that one killed me a little bit because even though I made no sense, even though on Monday I came on here and I said, "I understand it's probably not going to happen," but it was nice to imagine. Trav, have you heard anything otherwise, or am I just give it up?
No, Miami never had contact with Sergio Ramos. It was purely a rumor that, aggregate reporter like Fabrizio, who is a fraud, but, I'll have that fight later, that, he just put out there. Ramos most likely is going to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
That is horrible.
That is terrible. I mean, the more players that take this Saudi Arabia deal, like they're selling their soul.
Yeah, but
their soul.
They're not getting Apple deals when they come to the MLS, so they have to take the bag.
Well, what I love is they put out a video today of Roberto Firmino signing his contract, and they're like, "Oh, no look contract." And all I could think and all I saw comments for was, "Yeah, he probably doesn't want to look at that contract."
It's brutal.
Look, I'm sure that they're gonna do because China did this a couple of years ago. China was paying massive money for just randos. I remember Hulk went to play over there for a big contract, and then that eventually died out. Iniesta got a big bag also there over there. Was it in China or Japan?
Japan.
Okay.
Speaking of
Well,
Iniesta,
speaking of Iniesta, great transition there, Trav. Speaking of Iniesta,
so
there have been rumors, and I see Trav is ready. What are we hearing about the Iniesta? Because if people were on this chat, and I'm looking at you. If people were on this chat telling me Sergio Ramos is too old because he's 37 years old and is in tip-top shape to play in the MLS, I want to hear what they have to say about Iniesta being 39 and playing in this league.
So here's the thing. The difference between Ramos and Iniesta is the amount of money that they will make. Sergio Ramos is not coming on a deal that pays him less than $1.6 million a year.
I can see that for sure.
Iniesta is coming from Japan, where he
But you already got the bag.
Nothing. Well, he already got the bag in Barcelona and so forth. He made a little bit more in Japan, didn't make a ton. He would come here purely for a 6-month deal or so to have that one last hurrah with his Barcelona boys. And that is purely the only reason that I could get behind a Iniesta signing.
For sure.
Is he comes here dirt cheap. He provides bodies, which, let's be honest, we need right now. Now look at our midfield. No Coco, no Mota, no Gregory. No, if Arroyo goes down, if Ruiz gets suspended, so on and so forth, it gets very thin very quickly.
Yeah.
Having a player like Iniesta that, yes, he's 39, slow, will have issues adjusting.
And he's looked like he's been 50 for like the last 20 years. He's always looked old.
Yeah. Which I'm hoping, a couple of years in Japan helps with that. But he's a body that we need, and especially if he's cheap. God, I wish Ian Frey was my roommate.
You know what? I like Ian Frey. I don't think I like him as much as Trav.
I love Ian Frey. I said when Ian Frey first signed for the team, before he suffered his first ACL injury, I was like, Ian Frey is going to be an absolute baller. And everybody was like, get out of here. You're talking up some 17-year-old. Suffered the ACL injury. I'm like, shit, fuck. And then I met him. And that's the really funny part and why I like him so much. I just met him randomly at a IMCF2 match. And we started talking. And we shared Instagrams and stuff like that and kept talking. And just over time, it's been like, all right, like, yeah, you're cool. And I told him before, I think it was the US Open Cup match against Nashville, I was like, if Ian Frey starts, I will go into the team store and buy an Ian Frey kit right now.
Yeah, you did.
Ian Frey started. I bought an Ian Frey kit. Of course he
did, Danny. Come on, man.
That kit lasted about 11 days before then Ian Frey scored his first professional goals. And I then got that kit signed, and now that kit hangs in the rafters.
Nice.
I have a question before we move on, though, because just to finish the Iniesta talk.
I have a thought also, huh?
Trav, you mentioned Gregory, right? That he's out, but potentially he can make a comeback within the next, I think, 2 months? And so if he does, I mean, do we really need Iniesta for a body if we potentially can have Gregory come back at a decent time?
Gregory and Iniesta are different players, though.
I know, but I mean,
one, they're completely different players. Two, even if Gregory comes back, we're going to have to slowly transition him into significant playing time. A Liz Frank injury is a serious injury. And while he's back to not wearing a boot, while he's back to running on the training ground, all of that, he still had a very serious injury. And Liz Frank is one that, if you don't take it carefully, can get re-injured. Mm-hmm. And the recovery time from a Liz Frank re-injury is quite a long time. Like, we thought the 4 to 6 months that he was out this time is long. A
Yeah.
re-injury of the list, Frank, you're looking at almost a year.
Oof, rap time.
I haven't been keeping up with the chat, so I don't know if Bruno was saying this sarcastically or not. But Iniesta playing the wings, that cannot happen.
I mean, I'll play the wings in that
maybe
case.
if it's maybe if it's a 6-on-6 indoor field that's like I don't know how big those fields are, but maybe in that case. But he cannot play the wings. Now I will tell you, if you said that he would come for less than a TAM deal, let's say he gets $1 million. If he gets
Less
something
than
like that, if I would take an Iniesta, and why would I take an Iniesta? Because I see him as an on-field coach. I would love that brain to go ahead and spread the knowledge to the entire roster. And if you can get him to play 20, 30, 45 minutes in a game, plus kind of spread the knowledge, because as a coach, I'm sure that if the news were to break and they'd be like, oh, we just hired Iniesta to be on the coaching staff, everybody would be like, wow, that's a great hire. That's basically what you're doing. It's just that he still has a little gas in the tank where he can still play also. I think that would be, if it comes for cheap, I think that would be a great sign.
But you're already getting a freaking brain in Messi. What are we doing? Like Iniesta
There's different
is
brains. Iniesta is a maestro in the midfield.
Iniesta is the type of player that you put to the side in the training ground with Benja Kramaski, Ian Frey, David Ruiz, Eddie Escona, guys like that, and you say, you're going to speak with this guy, you're going to learn from this guy, and that's what he's here for. Because, yes, it's Messi, and he's the greatest of all time. He's going to teach our players by example, but he's not going to be the type that we look at and we say, all right, you teach Benja, you teach David Ruiz, you teach this guy. We will always have a DP number 10. Mm-hmm. So that's why Benja's playing the 8. That's why Ian Frey is playing the 6 center back.
That's why Duke got sent out.
That's why Duke got sent out. That's why Pizarro is getting sent out. We will always have a true big name DP number 8. Number 10. Mm-hmm. And you can have Lionel Messi teach these guys, but having truly what is one of the best number 8s of all time playing here and being able to, even if he's here only for 6 months, to teach our young guys, it will have long-standing benefits.
If I were to find out that Iniesta is going to sign for the 2.5 that they're saying Busquets and Alba are going to sign for, I'll throw up. I swear, I'll throw up. If they tell me that Iniesta signed for 2.5. But if he's signing for half the year and maybe staying on the coaching staff afterwards just because he wants to live in Miami, man, sign me up 100%. Chris, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say something because I decided, you know what? If I want to just kill this conversation, let's look at the FIFA cards. And Iniesta and Pozuelo are both gold 78s. And this guy, Iniesta, one of the pictures that I see here, he looks like he's 743 years old.
Oh, he's looked like that since he was like 25, though.
Get that guy out of here. Bring him to Miami, but put him in a retirement home. Get out of here.
No, you're crazy. No, if you can get that mind on the field and more than anything around the players, you do it. And especially if it makes Messi happy. Because at this point, you're playing that NBA game where, in the NBA, you get a star and then you start letting like their friends hang out at the team facility. Like you just make the star happy. At this point, whatever Messi wants, Messi gets.
This right here, Tebow, that's the comment. That's the dime of the day right there. Imagine Iniesta in the academy. You know what? Just do that. Bring him. He'll take Higuain's job. He'll take Javi Morales' job. Fire both of those guys. Get them out of here too. All right. I mean, come on.
But look, an on-the-field coach, I think that would be an amazing trait for him to have. And again, that's just me spitballing. I'm not saying that that's what they're bringing him for, but I would imagine if they get him, that would be something that you see. You see him talking to the guys on the pitch. You see him directing traffic on the pitch. I can see him pointing. Kick it over here, kick it over there. I am all for it if it comes, like Trav said, for cheap. If it comes for cheap,
get out of here.
I am all for it.
Get out of here.
All right. So you said a little while ago, Pizarro, he knew that this last game was his final game. I thought, and I think that I heard you say maybe on a tweet earlier or something, that Campana doesn't get bought out because since he's your third DP, you're now giving you three U22 initiative spots, which are essentially young DPs. Obviously, Chris's boy Emerson is still on one of those, but that frees up two more young DP spots. And we have a full continent of South America to kind of just go in and just pick who we want. Now, I'm hearing a lot of talk about this kid, Thomas Aviles from Racing in Argentina. Have you heard anything about that being a possibility as a signing? Now, he plays center back, which I don't know if that's the position we're looking for, but.
So, first, let me clear up some MLS roster rule terminology here. So, bought out is when a player's contract is terminated by saying, we see the rest of your deal, we're going to pay it to you, you're going to leave. That is buying out a player. That is what Miami will do with Rodolfo Pizarro if they cannot trade him within MLS. Buying down is the mechanism in which you can use GAM or TAM, general allocation money or targeted allocation money, to buy down the cap hit of a contract. Miami will be buying down Gregory's cap hit so that he is no longer a designated player. Miami can buy down Leo Campana's cap hit to make him no longer take up a designated player contract. The reason that Inter Miami will not buy down Leo Campana's cap hit is because when you have a young designated player, and there's three different types of designated players. There's a designated player, there's a young designated player, and then there's a U22 DP. When you have one of your three main designated players as a young designated player, you are allowed to use three U22 DP slots. U22 DPs are players under the age of 22. You are allowed to acquire them for any price. You can pay $100 million for them. You can pay $5 million for them. And as long as you don't pay them above the maximum salary budget charge of $625,000, they will count as a U22 DP and occupy one of those spots. With Miami keeping Campana as a young DP, they will keep all three of those U22 DP slots.
And at the moment, one is already being used by Emerson Rodriguez, which
Correct.
is on loan. So we still have two available. Chris,
Correct.
you're going to say something?
No, I was going to mention we actually just recently finished a couple videos about talking about all of that good stuff, that GAM and TAM stuff. So
yeah, because we know we have some people watching that.
Go check it out, people, because else this is going to turn into a lecture. And
for sure,
I am not a college professor.
Yeah, no, we have a couple videos for DPs. We drop in one on explaining GAM and another one's explaining TAM, and maybe U22 is one that needs to be done also, because that's something that's going to be talked about a lot because we have those two open slots. Now, have you heard anything about those two open slots getting filled?
So Miami is looking to fill them this window. They are part of the 3 to 5 players after Lionel Messi that Miami is looking to add this window. They have had contact with Racing and with 19-year-old Argentine U22 national team, U20 national team player, Thomas Alves. He is a center back. He only has 11 starts for Racing senior team, but he is highly regarded. A lot of people see him as one of the next big center backs to come out of Argentina and to potentially play on the Argentine national team. Now, Miami doesn't need more center back depth. I fought this fight hard with the Sergio Ramos rumor.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
However, U22 DP slots are more so a investment slot. You use these slots to buy players that you would otherwise not be able to afford because they would take up a regular DP slot, but that you want to invest in, develop, and then sell them on later on. Emerson's a prime example of this. He was bought for $2.5 million and takes up a U22 DP slot. He's not with the club right now. He's in Mexico, but he is an investment player. Thomas Alves would be the same. He would be a eventual successor to Sergei Kristov, and could even be a successor to Kamal Miller if Kamal Miller leaves for Europe in the next transfer window when he is a free agent. Matthew, if you correct me on my English, I swear to God, I know where you live.
You're done.
But that is essentially what U22 DP slots are. They are investment slots. You buy players with high upside, put them there, develop them, sell them on.
So when everybody's, because look, this is the big speculation, right? Jorge Mas put up this picture. He put up 3 jerseys, and everybody's like, okay, Messi, Busquets, and Alba. And then Mike Ryan came out and said, hey, guys, just to give you a heads up. And, Mike Ryan's been right on most things, so everybody takes his word for gospel. He said, that 3rd jersey, that's not Jordi Alba's jersey. So everybody's up in arms like, oh, wait, so who is it? Any idea who that jersey could be?
I like that comment. The 3rd jersey was Ian Frey. Yes. At this time,
Good job, Rob.
Miami is between a couple of players for that 3rd spot. I'm not at liberty to say just yet, but Jordi Alba is not the 3rd jersey, and the E that has been missing from every single announcement is a hint, and the CSI is also a hint.
No,
Miami has been.
You got to bring that back, because I need to hear these hints again. You said the SI was a hint, and I don't know what E he's talking about though.
So look back at the Messi announcement. What letter was missing?
The E. Okay.
Look at the basically when it was Messi's birthday. Look at the message that we put out. What letter was missing?
That one I don't remember.
That's the SI, no?
Nope. Feliz cumplo. What letter's missing? E.
Okay.
When we announced Lionel Messi, and with the 3 jerseys that Jorge Mas posted, all that it said underneath was C.
SI. C.
We have Messi, Busi. There's one more.
Is it Pulisic? No?
Is
that a stretch?
I hope to God no.
Hey, don't hate on Pulisic, man.
I hope it's Greasy. My boy Antoine Griezmann.
I can see Greasy.
But that is a hint. I'm going to let the chat run wild with that one.
So the E and the SI are the hints. All right, and then the last question, because I know you said you're not at liberty to talk, but the last question. Is this a big name that people would know, would recognize, be like, oh, shit, we got this guy?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
everybody's going to have to just start, like, sitting in their dungeon tonight and just, like...
Oh, yeah. I'm doing it.
I really should hit up Transfer Market and just turn around and apologize and just be like, hey, guys, I'm sorry. A lot of traffic tonight. Specifically on that free agent page.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Well, while the chat tries to crack the code, and let me tell you something. If they crack the code, are you going to... no, you're not going to tell us that we got it right.
I mean, there's other people asking questions, and I feel like the more that we ask... I mean, we're just gonna have people just climbing in until.
Oh yeah, but I don't want to get Trav in trouble either.
No, of course not. No, not at all. It's not Pulisic, that's for sure.
It's not Pulisic.
Yeah, it's not Pulisic. He's going to AC Milan.
Yeah. All All right. So before we get Trav in trouble, let's move on. Any idea when Messi and friends will arrive? Now I know you were talking about July 16th, but if July 16th is his first training and the first game is July 21st, I find it hard to believe he's going to make it to the debut on July 21st. Any word on when he might actually start training with the team?
So the idea is that around that July 16th date is when Lionel Messi and friends will arrive. It will probably be a few days before that, but that is when they will be arriving. And then July 16th is that unveiling event, supposedly for season ticket holders.
Now, you might not know this, but are they going to let people sell their tickets to that event? Because
No, those
I'm
will
assuming
be non-transferable.
Okay, but say because if you can sell those tickets, I'm assuming that those tickets are going to go for just as much, maybe not as much, but close to that July 21st game.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, this event will be special. It's a special event, kind of like one that MLS has never seen before. Now, going back to maybe the David Beckham days. Now, I think when David Beckham was announced with the LA Galaxy, that they unveiled him in front of their fans. No team in MLS has done that since on such a large scale. Miami will do this in front of a sold out, probably 22,000 seat stadium.
Oh, that's
I
just
mean,
the
do we have that?
unveiling.
We don't have that many season tickets, do we, to sell out that stadium?
So Miami, prior to the Lionel Messi signing, had 13,000 season tickets. After the Lionel Messi announcement, Miami had 35,000 season ticket holder deposits placed. So with the way that any sale will go on moving forward will be season ticket members get first priority, then deposit holders, and then the general public. We'll see that with the Cruz Azul match. We'll see that with this July 16th unveiling, with the Atlanta match, so on and so forth. Very likely with this unveiling, and what has very likely happened behind the scenes is that the earlier you place a deposit for season tickets for the 2024 season, the more likely you were to get season tickets for the remainder of this year, and then basically get bumped up a category.
That's great.
I know there's a waiting list for next year because I wanted to add 2 tickets for my kids for next year because now they're old enough to go to the games with me, and they're like, yeah, you got to put $200 down and just hope on the wait list. I was like, what the F? Like, I've been a season ticket holder forever, but I just have to wait. I just saw this in the chat real quick. He's asking about my shirt, batteredfans.com. I got this shirt. We got Messi shirts. We got a bunch of unique stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. So batteredfans.com if you want to go see some different Messi stuff, because I know you're seeing a lot of the Adidas stuff going around. And also, if you're watching, like and subscribe.
Yeah, check us out.
Why not?
Yeah,
just hit the like, hit the subscribe. Why not? All right. Where was I? See, I'm sorry. That's what happens when I go to the chat. I lose my spot. All right. So
no, I forget it. That's why I stay just submerged into the chat because if
I can't
if we
because then I
both
can't
do
jump
that,
around.
forget it. We're both stuck in quicksand.
All right. So, is there any chance? Because I mean, it would be crazy that on June 20. Oh, it says June. It's July. Is there any chance that on July 21st we do not see Messi debut?
No.
Oh, he's
There's
going
a
to get
lot
rolled
of
out
people
there.
talking about it. Like if it's
Yeah,
like if it's a possibility.
I think that's why the tickets have been like coming down because people are like, you know what? What if he doesn't play? And people are scared.
So
is there any chance?
More so the reason that tickets have come down in price is and Jorge Mas alluded to this, was when they first released tickets for this match, they released very few.
Yes.
The very first batch that went to just season ticket holders back in May and was also available to the general public, those were only about, I think, a 6 of the available. That's a good question. I'll answer it in a second. only about a six of them were available for purchase, and that was so that people didn't go out and buy all of them just to resell them. What happened then was they stopped sales, obviously, and then turned around and reopened sales and flooded the market with, 19,000 tickets, because very few people bought tickets back in May, because a lot of people had the same mentality of, God, we're fucking shit. I'm not going to pay to watch us get our ass kicked by Cruz Azul. I, however, enjoy pain, so I did buy those tickets. So what then happened was, with all these new jerseys, all these new tickets on the market, everybody went out and bought them, and so many went out and bought them with the sole idea of reselling them. I have friends that have done this. They put in the wrong tickets on StubHub. Somebody bought them and they got burned. So that is why prices have come down, because now people are panicking and they're saying, shit, I have these tickets that, I bought and I put on a credit card that's due next week. I got to sell them.
Well, that's what I think some people don't realize. And I learned this last year with my Barcelona tickets, because, I'm an Inter Miami fan. I don't want to see my team get smacked up by Barcelona. And I got my 2 tickets and I was like, I'm going to sell these things. I don't want to see us get our ass kicked. And I sold them, and they're like, yeah, but you don't get your money until a week after the actual game takes place. So I was thinking to myself, all these people that are putting the tickets up for sale quickly, like, why are they doing that? I don't think they realize that they have to wait until after the event's over to receive their payment. So,
well, and I know quite a few people that bought tickets, and within seconds of those tickets hitting their Ticketmaster account, they listed them and then sold them. So the demand was there, but now with tickets still available firsthand from the club and a just massive amount of tickets overall now available, it's going to drive price down, because people are now going to wait. They're going to say, all right, I'm going to wait until as close to the match as possible to buy tickets so that I can turn around and hopefully get them for cheaper. Because paying $1,000 for a ticket to a Leagues Cup match, unless you're sitting somewhere with free food and drink, is insane. If you do that, please, I'll put my Venmo in the chat. Please send it to me instead.
Well, the July 4th game, the game yesterday, it was $16 to get into there, which isn't that bad.
Yeah, I got Northwest Club tickets yesterday for, I think, $11. The last time I'll ever do that.
yeah, that's not happening anymore. And on Saturday was probably the last time you're ever going to see that stadium half empty.
How was the
experience?
We had a 17K on Saturday, and we had 14K yesterday. Northwest Club. I love the Northwest Club. It's the best. It's sad that I'm never going to see it again. I have money, not that type of money.
All right. So I guess we could. Anything else on the transfer window before we move on to Saturday and DC United?
Well, let's see. Where's that guy that keeps saying that I'm an asshole because I won't answer him?
It's
where is he?
Jump probably in the chat, the majority of the chat. Probably
jump in the chat.
That's
man. I want to see him.
I believe it's is it Andres? No,
Andres. Hey, Andres, how you doing? First of all, man, cannibalism. Tasty. I'm not sure I'm into Italian as much, but I'm a little bit more of a French dish type guy. But no, Luis Suarez has a $70 million release clause with Grimo. There has been rumors that he would retire to come and play for Miami. That is not true. Grimo would put a clause in his contract that basically says if he retires,
he can't play for anybody else. And actually, not that you bring up these clauses. Thomas Aviles from Racing, I believe his buyout clause is $16 million. Would Inter really go after him if they have to pay $16 million to get him?
So Miami likely would not pay 60 million for Thomas Alves. His current worth is probably closer to, I'd say, 2.5 to 3 million. But I would think that Miami would get him for probably in the $4 to $6 million range, just because of his potential. And he has that $16 million release clause just to prevent a Euro side from coming in and trying to poach him much earlier than he is ready.
Right. All right. And then one last question about the transfer window. It's a silly rumor that started today, but I mean, I don't see any legs, but I guess we'll get into it. Eden Hazard. I can't imagine that is at all a possibility. But then again, I didn't think Gareth Bale was a possibility for LAFC last year. So maybe. What are you thinking about the Hazard rumors? And I don't see how they would afford that. But, at this point, everybody just assumes that MLS is ready to grant 15 spots to the Eastern Conference for the playoffs just to make sure that Miami makes it, because everybody thinks that Miami's going to get all these rules bent for them. So is Hazard a real possibility?
There's absolutely no legs to the Eden Hazard rumor. If Eden Hazard is going to join an MLS side, it would be CF Montreal. CF Montreal has been interested in Eden Hazard for a while, but as it stands right now, Eden Hazard is unsure if he's even going to continue his playing career.
Well, I mean, he retired like 3 years ago. He hasn't seen the pitch in forever.
Well, that's just because he played for, Real Madrid, and they love ending careers. Look at Gareth Bale.
Well, Gareth Bale didn't do much after he left Real Madrid either. Why are you hating on
I mean, he
Real
did
Madrid?
win last year.
He didn't play well last year. His MLS
But
career
he
was saved.
he played well
with
when it
that final-
counted.
with that goal, I guess. I mean, I can't argue the fact that he had the championship clinching goal, but I don't know.
It is what it is, Bobby. He hit it when it counted.
And then I'll jump on a couple of the other rumors because
Go for it, yes, please.
Because they jumped in. They were in my friggin' inbox today. Eden Hazard, not Eden Hazard. Edison Cavani, he has signed a contract with Benfica. He will not be joining the club.
Wasn't that? Oh, I had Di Maria. They got Anthony Di Maria and Cavani.
No, that was Di Maria.
Okay.
Edison Cavani, I believe, is under contract somewhere, so he's not coming. Let's see, who else have I been sent? That is just insane. Yeah,
I mean, there's
Edison,
been like a billion.
Edison Cavani is under contract with Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's look at this list that somebody sent me earlier.
Well, it seems like absolutely anybody that is a free agent right now or is being rumored to be moved is being linked to Miami. Now, I think that the real move here is let's just get Ronaldo. Let's just get Ronaldo, pair him up with Messi, and just make it the greatest show on turf.
I would become a St. Louis fan full time.
Why? You don't like Ronaldo?
Nope.
Why not? I mean, he would never come, obviously, but I'm just saying, I think that would be hilarious. I saw somebody going on here, and they're still trying to crack the code. ESI. Does this person play in Europe right now?
So all three of these, so ESI aren't all in the same name. It is one of the two.
So it could be first name and last name. So it could basically be absolutely anybody on earth because ESI
It could be E. It could be SI. I don't know.
Oh, he just threw me off then because that basically adds every single person on this planet Earth, unless
everybody's just throwing something and hoping that it lands.
Guys, just so you know, everybody in the chat, I think you guys are doing a great job because obviously Trav got shook because somebody was getting close and he had to just shake us off the scent. He's like,
yes.
Well, it's more so the chat doesn't understand, and it's like it's not both. It's not like like Mbopsy. It's not some stupid shit like that. It's
because they're throwing a C at the end of everything.
It's one of their nicknames or their actual name. With Boosie, That's one of his actual nicknames, Busi.
I had never heard that one before, though.
Mm.
Okay, so can you tell me this last thing before we move on to this weekend? Does he play in Europe right now?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Okay, so that means he plays in South America. So I guess we'll take that for what it is, and we'll move on. All right. So this weekend we have DC United. 2 games left in this first. I guess I could say first
And
half of the year,
everybody's
but it's a little
dying
more
for
than
a
first
damn
half.
tie.
No, nobody's dying for a tie. But
Everybody's
if
dying
we end
for
up with
one.
a tie, that's a positive result. It's better than a loss. We're playing against Washington, which we're doing horrible, but they've won like 2 out of the last 3 games finally. But before that, they were playing horrible. They did have a very impressive win. They beat Cincinnati, which is probably the best team in the East right now. They beat them 3-0. So that was a good result. But we need this game. Do you think, Trav, we need a win? At this moment, we are sitting obviously 15th place with 17 points. And we are 9 points off of 9th place. Do we need a win on Saturday, do you think, to keep our playoff hopes alive?
I think we need just as many points as we can get. Leading up to the Leagues Cup and the about month gap in games. Whether it's a win, a draw, we just cannot afford to drop any more games.
If I'm going to give some people, I guess maybe some, I don't know if the right word is hope, but we play between 8th and 14th place. We play each of those teams starting this Saturday against DC United, and then 7 of the rest of those after the break. So we technically control our own destiny. If we could keep winning games and costing these teams points, we have a solid chance to make it to the 9th seed at least. So I don't think it's necessarily a win, or a win is necessary. Kind of like you said, Trav, what we need is positive points. If we can get at least a point, we are in a better position. Chris, I'm guessing you think otherwise. You think we need a win on Saturday?
I don't think that we need a win. I think any sort of positivity will be able to lend itself to us sort of moving up slowly but surely. I mean, I think that once Messi and friends get here, it's going to get blown out the water. Like, there's absolutely no way we miss the playoffs.
Well, that's a bold statement, but I mean, we do have 1 or 2 games in hand again on most of these teams. The only team in front of us that have played the same amount of games as us is Chicago and the Red Bulls. Everybody else has played at least 1 or 2 games more than we have. So let's say 1 game in hand, that's 3 points. That already brings us to within 6 points of, let's say, 9th place. So I think that we still have a chance if we can just muster out 1 point. And I do think that a win is possible. I don't think DC is necessarily a powerhouse by any stretch of the imagination. So I do think that we have a chance here. And the way we've played the last 2 games, no, we haven't been world beaters, but we've looked pretty good. I thought pretty decent, I guess, let me say. So I wouldn't rule out a win per se. Do you think we can win on Saturday? I guess we could just call this predictions now. Do you think we could win on Saturday, Trav?
Yeah, go ahead, Trav. Let him know what you think.
I mean, I think we can. And, if we get to a point in that game where, we're not going to win, I think you look at David Ruiz and you say, listen, man, you see that guy named Taxi Funtas?
David Ruiz is the guy to do it.
David Ruiz is the guy to do it.
Now, I saw that I don't know if you tweeted it or I saw it on Discord. You said that we have a few players that are a yellow card away from a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, Leo Campana, Ian Frey, David Ruiz are all 1 game away from a yellow card accumulation suspension. So if any of them pick up a yellow card on Saturday, they will be suspended against St. Louis.
That's well. I mean, if there's a game to get suspended against St. Louis, because we're
gonna take an L no matter what. We're gonna take an L no matter what that week.
Go take out Taxi anyway. So Chris, I guess before I go ahead. What do you think of what's gonna come on Saturday?
I think that we are going to win 2-1. That's going to be my prediction, Danny. I'm going to keep it simple. 2-1. It's an away game. It's got some drama attached to it. 2-1. I'm good with that.
What do you think, Trav? You didn't give us a prediction. You think win, loss, draw?
I think we get a 3-2 win. Goals by Campana, Josef, and I think Benja Kramaski gets his first.
Ooh, I like to hear that. I love the
could see
positivity.
that. I can see that.
I do see them scoring, right? I find it very hard for us to keep a clean sheet against anybody just because we give up so many shots. But our defense, I thought, played pretty well against Columbus. I'm assuming we're going to play with basically the same starting 11, maybe Joseph instead of Campana, but regardless, the same defense setup. And I think that we have a good chance to win. Now, something that I was looking up because I love looking up stats. Washington, their goalie, Tommy some crap. I don't know what the hell. I forgot his name already. Miller or something. By far and away, the worst save percentage of any goalie in the MLS. Meaning, just shoot.
So
and I know we have an issue shooting, but
he's
just
an all-star, by the way.
Not this year. Did he make the all-star team? Because his save percentage is absolutely horrible. What the fuck?
Wayne
Okay, so
Rooney
he made
picked
the.
him.
But that's not fair. Anyway, worst save percentage in the league. Meaning, just shoot at the MFR because there's a chance that it might go in. So I do think that we'll get in. I do think we'll get some in. I think we win this game. I predicted 2-1 last week, ended up 2-2. I'm going to say 2-1 again. I think we could win. No, I said 1-1. I'm sorry. I said a draw. I think we could win 2-1, and I think that we'll get those 3 points. We get 3 points, all of a sudden we have 20 points, and at that point, I start feeling a lot better about our playoff chances once Messi gets here. So, we'll see. Did the chat have any questions for Trav before we start, wrapping it up? Did you see any questions?
I didn't see any questions. I mean, everybody is, Danny, everybody has been wondering about this secret Da Vinci Code player, right? Everybody's trying to figure it out here. I mean, there's people talking about, the next game, how long before Tata parks the bus, which we're going to be closing out the show pretty soon. Trav, let everybody know where they can be able to find you.
You can find me at IMCF Traveler on Twitter. I have my show, Trav Chats, tomorrow night, where all of you guys can turn around and jump on and vocally share your opinions and annoy the living crap out of me if you want. You can also catch me on the Inter Miami podcast as well from time to time.
Oh, man. You see, that's what we're talking about, Danny. And this game this weekend, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for this Saturday's game.
Before I saw somebody, and a few people have been saying this. Any truth to this, Trav? Is this going to be our third kit?
God, that thing is uglier than hell.
It is awful. It is awful.
I like the color schemes. I just don't know if I like the design.
That is uglier than hell.
And I'll be rocking the fuck out of it, even though it's ugly.
It looks like a heron shat all over it.
It looks like somebody just put that thing down on the beach and said, all right, we need 2 herons, one with regular shit and then one with bloody shit, and just have at it. And we sent it to the German designers, and they were like, oh my God, we love this.
Oh,
but no, obviously the third jersey will be purple. So,
come on,
man.
because that's what Orlando did, right? I like the Vice City colors though. I just the design is weird to me.
Trust me, I want a Vice City kit because I think it'd be really cool. You just got to do it right. If you do something like that, that's a crappy cotton candy jersey. I'm still gonna buy it because my wallet hates me. But even then, you got to do it absolutely right.
Yeah,
I agree.
And this is where I wish they would have had some creativity like Miami FC did with like all the little cities in South Florida.
We're global. We can't do that.
I know, bro, but like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, and the issue with this is, unlike Miami FC, we go through Adidas. Adidas
Yeah.
designs the jersey and sends designs back to us. That's how it works across the entire league. So you just have to be lucky to have a really good design team that year. And it's across the league. I mean, the Athletics reported on this quite a few times. You get some say, but not the same amount as these smaller brands where they can really just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and be like, all right, that's it.
I don't know what that comment is.
Listen,
it was obviously for Trav. But
it's a valid question, right? I mean, Trav put it out there. Is it Vasi as in Vasilev? I mean, that's a very valid question. And Trav is a huge Vasilev fan. So
who would call him Vasi? His name is Indiana Jones. If you haven't seen it, now in theaters.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I couldn't care less about the Indiana Jones.
I've never watched any of those either. And then real quick, have they started selling these seats yet? The two corner and gate 1 and gate 3?
I don't think I've seen them for sale. From what I've heard from more than a few people was that those are being reserved just for deposit holders because they're fresh seats. Nobody can lay claim to them. There's no, that
makes sense.
That season ticket holder wanted to get the seat next to them. Nobody owns these seats. So that's why I heard is that those are for deposit holders.
That makes sense. Well, I think that's about it. Unless anybody else in the chat pops up with a new question for Trav. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us again. Last month, you dropped a dime when we didn't realize what a real dime it was. Today, you dropped a Rubik's Cube, which we're going to keep trying to figure out, the ESI. And we'll see when that comes through. And check him out if you don't follow him already on IMCF Traveler. As always, if you're listening on audio all the way to the end, we appreciate you sticking with us all the way to the end. If you are on YouTube and you're part of the chat, thank you again. Again, you guys are the best part of this show. So we appreciate you guys taking the time to stick with us all the way to the end. Chris, as always, I hate you. If you guys want some unique apparel for Inter Miami, Messi, and we'll be having some other teams and stuff from around the area up there also. Check batterfans.com. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. We go live every Monday and Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And I think that's about it. So I guess we could sign off unless you want to ask another question, Chris.
Listen, we're still trying to solve this Rubik's Cube, though, Danny. So, Trav, are you going to spill the beans? Who's the player?
I think, I love the show. Last time I was on, I really dropped some news. So, I think it's only fair that